Hi, greetings from the Pacific Northwest. Bo here, coming back with another card video. This is going to be on, if you haven't figured it out, Les Canadiens. Of course, I'm not Canadian. I'm an American. I'm a new hockey fan. Only been a real, I would say I've only really followed hockey since Seattle came into the league. But people that know this have heard me tell the story before. I kind of followed a little bit. My dad used to get the sporting news back in the 70s and the 80s. Actually, probably more in the 70s is when he got that, or Sport Magazine. So I did see some pictures and some stats. It just wasn't on TV a lot out here. Grew up in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. It took getting a team. I would watch a little bit like on ESPN if Edmonton was playing in the 80s, because everybody knew Edmonton, right? And they were kind of fun to watch. But I never really sat down, learned the rules, or paid attention, to be honest with you, until a few years ago. And now I'm hooked. And now it's my favorite sport. It's even past football for me is my favorite sport. But I thought I'd show some of the kind of cooler cards from my Montreal Canadiens collection. So we'll start it off. First one, this is a 69-70. It's a Topps. The Gumper. Played with the North Stars, played with a few teams. It's in really poor condition, as you can see. Not sure how many cups he earned. I know he wasn't the main goalie. But Hall of Famer, Gump Worsley, that face too, played without a mask. Came back, retired, came back and played with a mask briefly, but then lost it again because he just didn't like the way it felt, I guess. Next up is left winger, Dickie Moore. This is a Parkhurst card from the early 60s. I think he scored 261 goals, won 6 cups. I think he won a couple of Art Ross trophies. Hall of Famer. I think every single one of these guys is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Mr. Boom Boom Geoffrion, known for his big old slap shot. That's how he got the nickname Boom Boom. Montreal, there was a stretch where they won a then record, what was it, 5 straight cups. I know Montreal has won the most Stanley Cups. They're like the New York Yankees of the NHL. And I believe they're the last Canadian-based team to win a Stanley Cup. And was that like 92, 93, 94, somewhere in there? I'm saying 93, probably. Somebody will correct me for being wrong, but that's okay. That's what this is all about. Here's the big M. Frank Mahovlich. Mahovlich, more known for having played with Toronto. I believe he won a couple cups with Montreal. I know he won some with Toronto too. Jumped to the WHA and the big bucks. I think this is a Red Wings uniform. It's airbrushed. It's hilarious. But he jumped to the WHA, played with the Bulls. I think he played with them in both Toronto and Birmingham before calling it a career. The big M, Frank Mahovlich. This is an O-Pee-Chee. This is a Patrick Waugh rookie card, not in the best shape. He got more fame later with Colorado, but of course, the Hall of Famer, one of the great goalies of all time. The gentleman, Jean Beliveau. I think he holds the record. I think his name's on the cup 17 times, 10 times as a player, and then 6 or 7 times as an executive as well. One of the classiest guys to ever play the game. Everybody who played against Jean Beliveau talks about his classiness as a player. So the gentleman, Jean Beliveau. So the next couple cards, this one's just because it's more iconic. This guy didn't have a long career, Ken Dryden. He was kind of polarizing, highly, highly intelligent. I know he ran for office in Canada. I believe he had a law degree, was well-read. I know he gets a reputation for not having loved hockey, but he always says, I did love hockey. It's just that, he had other interests outside of hockey as well. Did pretty well for himself. I showed this card because it's got the iconic mask. Bring it a little closer. It's got that iconic mask. Pretty cool. So I have 2 copies of this. This is his rookie card. This is the O-Pee-Chee variant, as you can see, the O-Pee-Chee. I also have a Topps variant of the same card. One of the key cards. I have this whole set complete, O-Pee-Chee, in fact. Very cool set. And this is probably it's hard to say on a franchise that's had so many great players and has had so much rich history and tradition who their greatest player is. Recently passed away, Guy Lafleur. The thing about Guy Lafleur that's even the most interesting, as great a career as he had, and all the Stanley Cups that he won, and I believe I think he won a Conn Smythe and a Hart Trophy as well. But back in the day, Montreal had it so that the top two, I think, players in Quebec, automatically were tied to the franchise. They had territorial rights, to put it mildly. Well, the first year that they didn't have territorial rights was the year that Guy Lafleur was going to be available in the draft. So they made a trade with the California Golden Seals to get the rights to either Guy Lafleur or Marcel Dion. They ended up picking Guy Lafleur because they didn't have those territorial rights anymore. And the stuff that California got, there's a reason that they don't exist anymore, folks. They made a lot of bad decisions. The California Golden Seals. Last but not least, and this is probably Leafs. So you Leaf fans might be happy I made that little mistake. Least Maurice the Rocket Richard, probably the greatest player in Montreal history. First guy to score 50 goals in a season. This card's pretty well worn, but his stuff's hard to find. So you take what you can get, especially when you live where I live. When you find it, you take it and you put your money down and you take the card. There's a really great documentary too about the riot that ensued because of the suspension that he got. I think you can find it on YouTube. If not, it might be on Prime. But either way, Maurice the Rocket Richard, in my estimation, the greatest guy to ever lace him up for the Montreal Canadiens. But there you have it, a few highlights of my Montreal Canadiens collection. We will see you next time. Bye.